Because black people, if you really want to fix the problem, here's just 5 things that you should think about doing.
I don't consider some influencers to be journalists.
Do you consider Megyn Kelly a journalist?
Oh, no, I never considered her a journalist to begin with.
As my friend, who is also an attorney, said that they gave you the N-word treatment.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, that is correct.
And I said, give this to my husband. He's in room, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And he took it up.
And gave it to him.
And gave it.
That's nice.
He took it up and gave it to him. And that was the only way that anybody knew that I had been arrested.
So Don Lemon goes on a View, gets emotional, starts crying about his bracelet, talking about how his husband didn't know where he was, how the FBI took his phone, and everyone in the audience is like, aw, poor Don. No, we're not gonna do that today because Don Lemon is not the victim. Don Lemon is a clout chaser that just went too far. And we're gonna go back in time to talk about Don Lemon, that he was very critical of black people, that some people actually consider him an Uncle Tom.
Finish school. You want to break the cycle of poverty? Stop telling kids they're acting white because they go to school or they speak proper English.
And now he's considering that he wants to run for president. This is just too much nonsense. Let's get into it.
You didn't see
I got on the elevator, you know, you turn and you hit the button, and as I was hitting the button, someone grabbed me and I said, oh my God, I'm being mugged.
Right.
I thought I was being mugged, so I started, it was jostling, I started pulling back, and they're like, we're federal agents, we're here to arrest you. I'm like, for what? Where's the warrant, right?
Yeah.
And so we had a bit of a struggle because I wanted to see a warrant, they didn't have it.
Don Lemon goes on a View and he is doing his whole performance, and I believe it is a performance. Don Lemon is good at this. I'll give him that. He knows how to work a room. The guy has been doing this for decades. Don Lemon has been on CNN for a very, very long time, and he has so many videos of the antics going back and forth. He knows exactly what he's doing. He's been on TV thousands of times.
I would love to spend more time with you. You are an incredible guy. Thank you so much.
Well, what the hell did you put me on the show for?
Well, I put you on the show to get you on to talk about your series. We talked for a long time, actually.
Oh, no, but we talked for a long time off the camera.
The new show, Mike Tyson Mysteries, airs every Monday night at 10:30 p.m.
So yes, sending 12 to 20 agents to arrest a man whose lawyer already offered to turn himself in, that is excessive. You could say that is a waste of taxpayer money. You could say they were aggressive. Whatever. But this is the part that no one wants to talk about. Why are you getting arrested in the first place? What did you do to get the DOJ to go after you? Because all you had to do was stay outside that church. That's it. Stand on the sidewalk, point your camera at the door, report on what's happening from the outside like any normal journalist would. But you didn't do that. You went in. You went inside a church during a worship service while protesters were storming in, screaming and scaring people, scaring children, and you were live streaming this for your YouTube channel. So Don Lemon can talk about being excessively targeted, but there's another Don that can actually say the same thing. Donald Trump. He's been saying the same thing for years. You could say it's the same argument. Trump's whole position was never just, well, they're investigating me. It's how they did it. The raid, the optics, the timing, the media circus around it. From his perspective, this wasn't law enforcement. That was a message. So that does sound pretty familiar, right? Because Don Lemon is basically saying the same thing, just in his own lane. He's not arguing that the arrest didn't happen. He's saying that what happened was excessive, like it was meant to send a signal. So at the core, same playbook, I wasn't just investigated, I was singled out.
And they want to embarrass you, they want to humiliate. Yeah. But as my friend, who is also an attorney, said that they gave you the N-word treatment.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, that is correct. And that you do feel that you are specifically being targeted by this administration.
Yes, I do.
Why?
Well, I mean, the president has been talking about me forever.
Now, here's where everyone started getting emotional instead of logical. Nobody's going to say that Trump got the N-word treatment. That phrase doesn't make a whole lot of sense, right? So you can't really put that language together. But let's zoom out. When people are arguing about something bigger, this idea of lawfare, using the legal system as a weapon, whether you believe it or not, Trump has been pointing at this for a minute now. Let's be honest. When you have people like Letitia James publicly saying that they're going after Trump, when you have Fani Willis building high-profile cases, that fuels to perception. Right or wrong, that's what people are reacting to. No, the situations aren't identical, but the argument, that feeling of being targeted based on how aggressively things are being handled, that part is the same conversation. And acting like it isn't is where things stop making a whole lot of damn sense. So let's go back to the live stream that Don Lemon had a couple of months ago when he went after this church. He called it a clandestine mission. He said that, and this is on video. You are willing to go to places and disrupt people and make people uncomfortable.
This is an operation that is secret, that they invited folks out.
This is Operation Pull Up, more of a clandestine operation. We show up somewhere. They don't expect us to come there, and then we disrupt business as usual.
We're not part of the activists, but we're here just reporting on them. Did they explain to you why they're here?
They did not.
They said that there is someone here in Easterwood, who is a member of ICE, and he's a pastor of the church.
Our church had gathered for worship, which we do every Sunday. We asked them to leave, and they obviously have not left.
That's not a journalist talking. That's an activist. That's a content creator looking for a moment. So let's go back and explain what he's actually being charged with, because The View didn't necessarily get into this, and obviously that's a part of the problem. Don Lemon is charged with 2 federal accounts. 1, conspiracy against the right of religious freedom. 2, injuring, intimidating, and interfering with the exercise of religious freedom at the place of worship. These charges come from the FACE Act, which was passed in 1994. It protects people's right to worship without being obstructed or intimidated.
Yeah, that was interesting to watch. This guy here, look, he's hugging his kid. And, you know, I imagine it's uncomfortable and traumatic for the people here.
Let's go back what the indictment said. The day before the protest, on January 17th, some of the defendants posted plans on social media but kept the church location hidden. The next day, they all gathered in a grocery store parking lot where protesters gave instructions on what to do once it got to the church. And Don Lemon was there. He was there at the briefing. He knew the organizer, the civil rights attorney. This was not some random protest that he stumbled into. He had advanced knowledge. He kept the location secret on his stream. And when those protesters ran into the church, Don Lemon ran in right after them with his camera rolling. That's not journalism. That's accuracy with a camera. Now, some people think this is an overreach of the indictment. I don't think so. It doesn't change the fact that Don Lemon put himself in this position. He didn't have to go into that church. He chose to go in that church. He wanted to get the clicks and views, just like any other YouTuber. But I hope most YouTubers won't try to commit a felony or a federal charge to get some views. I don't think it's worth it. Now, let's go back to The View, because Don Lemon tells it himself without actually realizing it. Let's watch this part.
Every accusation is a confession with this, because they're trying to put a chill on journalism. Journalists are now afraid that they're going to be arrested for doing their jobs.
See what he's doing? He's making this point about the First Amendment. He's making this about press freedom. And that's the play. That's the branding. Because if Don Lemon is just a YouTuber that went too far at a church protest, nobody cares. But if Don Lemon is a journalist being persecuted by the government, now he's a martyr. Now he can go and sell "We Will Not Be Silent" sweatshirts for $55. Within 2 weeks of him being arrested, he have over basically 600,000 new followers across all platforms. A 73% increase in Substack followers, 140,000 new YouTube subscribers. He made a lot of money, estimating making about $1 million just on YouTube. So it has been done really well for him financially. Him getting arrested was a great idea for him, and Don Lemon himself admitted it on The View. Check it out.
It was the unintended consequence, I believe, by the administration to embarrass me and to try to silence me. Did the exact opposite.
Right.
And that only highlights just how important it is, especially as an independent journalist, that they're targeting me, just how important the role that I have is.
He is telling you to your face that getting arrested was the best thing that ever happened to him. He's back in the news. So you're telling me that man that got fired from CNN, who needed to build a YouTube audience, went to Minnesota, attended a pre-protest briefing, kept the location secret, ran into a church with protesters, live streamed it while telling people to like and subscribe, get arrested, gain all these new subscribers, launch merch, and this was all about journalism? Come on. This doesn't make a whole lot of sense. This is the thing about Don Lemon that I think a lot of people don't really understand. The man does not have any principles. He says whatever that is popular at a moment. I've watched enough of CNN and watched enough of Don Lemon for decades. He goes wherever the wind blows. What am I talking about?
Because black people, if you really want to fix the problem, here's just 5 things that you should think about doing. Here's number 5, pull up your pants. Number 4 now is the N-word. Now number 3, respect where you live. Number 2, finish school. And number 1, and probably the most important, just because you can have a baby, it doesn't mean you should.
This is Don Lemon, 2013 on CNN, telling black people to pull their pants up, stop using the N-word, stop having babies out of wedlock. And who was co-signing this? Bill O'Reilly. Remember Bill O'Reilly? Don Lemon agreed with Bill O'Reilly about the destruction of the African-American family on national television. Imagine him saying that now, saying, you know what, personal responsibility matters, education matters, family structure matters, things that I think most people agree with. Don Lemon would not sit there and make a video about this right now. Impossible. He won't do it. Now the wind changed. You have two camps: be pro-Trump and think Trump is God, or you're anti-Trump and you think Trump is the devil. That's the wave. And you can watch how fast Don Lemon pivoted to the hard left. By 2018, this is when a man on the same network is saying that the biggest threat in the country is white men, and most of them are radicalized to the right, and we need to start doing something about them because there's no travel ban on them. There is no white guy ban, unquote. The same man that told black people to stop blaming racism and pull their pants up. Now he's talking about the white man being terrorists and calling for a white guy ban. He didn't evolve, he pivoted. He went wherever the clout was. Back in 2023, he's telling the world that Nikki Haley, a 51-year-old woman running for president, she wasn't in her prime. He says women are in their prime in their 20s and 30s and maybe 40s. And it wasn't just a Haley comment. Variety did a whole deep dive, years of misogynistic behavior, threatening texts to female colleagues, being nasty to his co-hosts. They couldn't book guests anymore because nobody wanted to deal with him. CNN put him through formal training and still couldn't get it right. That's why they fired him. And what did Don Lemon say when he got fired? Did he take any kind of accountability? No, he just said, I didn't lose my job lost me. Your job lost you, Don. So now he's out on CNN. He tried to go on X for one episode, got fired. So what does he do? He becomes a YouTuber, the exact same thing he used to look down on.
I don't consider some influencers to be journalists.
Me either, but what makes someone a journalist?
I think if you have a background and you've studied it and you have experience, as a journalist, then you're a journalist. Once a journalist, always a journalist, right?
I don't know about that, because do you consider Megyn Kelly a journalist?
Oh, no, I never considered her a journalist to begin with.
He's literally gatekeeping journalism. He says if you don't have a background in it, you are not a real journalist. Looking down on the entire independent media space, which is at this point, people are watching the independent space more than CNN, MSNBC, Fox News combined. And now he is independent media space. He's on YouTube every day. He's cutting clips for TikTok and Instagram. He's selling Lemon Nation subscriptions at $8 a month. He's got sponsors. He did a New Year's Eve show sponsored by Don Julio Tequila. He is an influencer. He is a content creator, but he still wants the credibility of being a journalist when it protects him legally. He's a YouTuber when he's cashing his checks, and he's a journalist when he's catching charges. Pick one, Don. And just when you think you can't get any more delusional, Don Lemon went on his show and said he thinks he could run for president of the United States.
Pay cut. But it's not about money for me. So do I ever think about it? Yes. Could it happen? Yeah, it could happen. If the opportunity presented itself, the right opportunity presented itself. Look, if I wanted to, I know people are going to think I'm crazy. This is going to be the headline and people are going to laugh about it. I think I could be president of the United States. Look at what we have. Did anybody think Barack Obama, as he says, this guy with a funny name, is from a mixed background? Did anybody ever think that he would become president, that he had that aspiration? I don't have an aspiration to become president, but I do think that I could run this country a lot better than Donald Trump.
He compared himself to Barack Obama, which is kind of hilarious because Barack Obama was a constitution law professor, a state senator, United States senator, and he ran for president, and extremely charismatic, which Don Lemon is not charismatic. Don Lemon got fired from CNN for being sexist, couldn't book guests on his own show, got fired from the X platform, became a YouTuber, and now he's facing federal charges for going into a church during a protest. Those two resumes are not the same. This is what happens when clout goes to your head. You get some YouTube subscribers, you're getting a whole lot of money, now you're getting arrested for content, and then some of the media rallies behind you, and suddenly you think you're presidential material. That's the definition of delusion. And that delusion, that need for bigger and bigger moments, is exactly what got him in that church in the first place. He didn't go to Minnesota for journalism. He needed a moment. He needed content. He needed something that would put him back in a conversation. And I guess it worked. It worked too well because now he's got federal charges. Don Lemon is just a clout chaser that went too far. He told black people to pull their pants up. He called white men terrorists. He got fired for disrespecting women. He became the YouTuber that he used to look down upon. And he went into a church for content and got arrested. We will see the conclusion of this. Do I actually think he's going to go to jail? No. I don't think he's going to go to jail at all. I think the fact that he is famous, he's going to be able to get away with what he did. And he's going to use this to continue to build his platform and pretend that he is the next American journalist that's out there fighting for a little person. But he's not a journalist. He's not a civil rights hero. He's a man that will say and do anything for attention. And maybe this time it may have caught up to him. But let me know what you guys think about this story in the comments below. Thank you for taking time to watch this video. And I'll see you guys in the next video.